I can't sit there and say a Nas bar to you, or like a song I was infatuated with Chief Keef.
Shut the fuck up.
Maxie Lee Riles III, BKA Fivio Foreign, born March 29, 1990. Fivio Foreign is the type of rapper who makes you question how much the game has really changed. Once upon a time, artists were pushed through because they had undeniable talent, unique style, or music that stood apart from the pack. In today's rap landscape though, sometimes all it takes is being loud, being around the right wave at the right time, and carrying yourself like you're already a star. Fivio is the perfect example of this. When New York drill was booming and Pop Smoke's voice was defining a generation, Fivio slid into the frame with Big Drip, a record that caught fire mostly because drill as a whole was peaking. His charisma and high energy gave him just enough to stand out, but underneath that, the music never showed much depth. He sounded like everyone else, rapped about the same things, and leaned on features or cosigns to push him forward. The industry treated him like the next up, a Kanye West feature here, a Drake collab there, then the debut album B.I.B.L.E in 2022. But instead of becoming the new face of drill, the project revealed his biggest weakness. He had no real substance, no versatility, and no fresh perspective to offer. The songs bled into each other, his style came off more like a watered-down Rich the Kid than innovator, and the hype that had surrounded his name faded quick. He may have had the spotlight for a brief moment, but nothing he's released since has mattered beyond release week. What makes it worse is his persona outside of music. Fivio has become almost a parody of New York bravado, loud, delusional, and saying goofy things online, like not knowing a Nas lyric while bragging about being influenced by artists younger than him. Instead of aging into an elder statesman role, he acts like a rookie still chasing relevance. Combine that with drill's decline in mainstream popularity, and Fivio's flaws are impossible to ignore. At one point, people thought he might be the guy to carry Brooklyn drill forward after Pop Smoke's passing. But now, years later, it's clear he never had the sauce to begin with. His run was a moment, nothing more. And the deeper you look, the more you realize his career might be remembered alongside other moment rappers like Lil Pump, briefly hot but never built for the long haul. What happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to everyone that's requested this feature. It's your boy JC, Stunt of Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Fivio Foreign is a rapper from Brooklyn, New York, born in 1990, who rose out the same drill wave that produced Pop Smoke. Growing up in East Flatbush, he started rapping seriously in the early 2010s under the name Light Fivio before settling on Fivio Foreign. For years, he hovered around the underground scene without much attention until the Brooklyn drill movement exploded and gave him the perfect lane. In 2019, his single Big Drip became a breakout hit, earning millions of views and eventually a remix with Lil Baby and Quavo. That moment secured him a deal with Mace's record label and Columbia, and by 2020, he was rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest names in rap. He landed on Drake's Demons, Lil TJ's Zoo York, and was even named to XXL's freshman class, positioning himself as one of the new faces of New York rap. Stunt number 1, a debut album that exposed him. When Fivio Foreign dropped his debut album in 2022, it was supposed to be a moment that solidified him as a face of Brooklyn drill. He had the Kanye West cosign, features from Alicia Keys, Quavo, and A$AP Rocky, plus major label backing. The industry rolled out the red carpet, but the final product showed the cracks in his game. Instead of elevating his sound, the album exposed how limited he really was. From front to back, B.I.B.L.E struggled to separate itself from the dozens of other drill projects released during that time. The production leaned heavy on the same 808 slides, hi-hats, and menacing beats the genre is known for, but without much variation. Lyrically, Fivio didn't bring anything new either. Most songs revolved around the same recycled themes of guns, girls, and street bravado. What should have been a defining project ended up feeling like background music, the type of album you might listen to once on release week but never return to. The disappointment wasn't just about the music, it was about what it revealed. Fivio had been marketed as an artist ready to break out of drill's box and lead the genre into the mainstream. but instead of proving his versatility, the album showed he lacked the creativity and songwriting chops to carry a full-length project. Even with high-profile guests doing some of the heavy lifting, Fivio's presence felt thin, like a featured artist on his own songs. The commercial performance reflected that reality. While the album debuted in the top 10, it quickly fell and didn't produce a lasting hit outside City of Gods, which leaned more on Kanye and Alicia Keys than Fivio himself. What was supposed to be his arrival moment instead became the first sign that he might not have the substance to last. Stunt number 2, no versatility, no evolution. One of the clearest reasons Fivio Foreign stalled is that the music never evolved. From Big Drip in 2019 to his more recent tapes, the sound remains almost identical. Same subject matter, same delivery. At first, that energy gave him momentum because drill was fresh, aggressive, and had mainstream ears paying attention. But rap is a fast-moving genre, and audiences expect growth. Fivio never delivered it. Listen to his catalog and it's hard to pick out records that stand apart. The flows are interchangeable, the hooks rarely stick, and his verses feel more like filler than artistry. Instead of carving a unique lane, he settled into being just another drill rapper with a loud personality. That lack of variety becomes more glaring when placed next to peers. Pop Smoke, even with a tragically short run, showed versatility with tracks like Dior, compared to melodic records like What You Know About Love. Other drill artists branched out too, blending Afro beats, trap, and melodic rap into their sound. Fivio, meanwhile, stayed boxed in. This inability to adapt has made him sound outdated only a few years into his mainstream career. And it doesn't help that his vocal tone and flow often draw comparisons to Rich the Kid, an artist already criticized for monotony. For someone positioned as the next up, sounding like a copy rather than an innovator made it hard for him to separate himself. In music, especially hip-hop, staying stagnant is career suicide. You have to reinvent yourself, expand your artistry, or at least find new ways to package the same energy. Fivio didn't. The excitement around his name faded once people realized his music wasn't going to get better, just more of the same. By refusing or failing to evolve, he effectively put a ceiling on his own career. Stunt number 3, the death of drill. Every rap era has its waves. Crunk, snap music, ringtone rap, blog rap, they all had their moment, ran the charts for a few years, then faded into history. Drill rap is proving to be no different. What once felt like the new sound of New York and Chicago has now cooled to the point where it isn't even taken seriously anymore. For all the energy and rawness drill brought, it never built the foundation needed to last. The beats are repetitive, the subject matter rarely changes, and the artists themselves often struggle to evolve past the formula. Fivio Foreign's career is tied directly to that decline. When drill was peaking, his energy gave him a seat at the table. Big Drip was loud and fun. His guest features on songs like Demons and Zoo York kept his name hot, and he had just enough charisma to slide into the mainstream. But now that drill has cooled off, Fivio's limitations are impossible to hide. Without the genre's momentum carrying him, his music feels dated, redundant, and disposable. The proof was in his debut album B.I.B.L.E, which flopped and disappeared as quickly as it arrived. If he struggled to make an impact when drill was at its peak, how can anyone expect him to deliver now when the sound itself is fading? At this point, another album doesn't even make sense, likely why one hasn't come. Fivio seems stuck in limbo, surviving off moments and headlines rather than new music. Drill had its run and Fivio had his moment inside of it. But now both are fading fast. With no wave left to ride, he's exposed as an artist without the talent or a vision to outlast the trend. All in all, Fivio Foreign will go down as a product of his moment rather than a force that shaped it. His come-up lined up perfectly with the height of Brooklyn drill, and for a brief stretch he looked like he might be its next star. But once the wave slowed, so did he. A debut album that failed to deliver, a catalog with no versatility, and the overall decline of drill left him with little ground to stand on. Today, his name is more attached to interviews, antics, or questionable comments online that actual music people care about. drill had its fun and will always be remembered as a flashpoint in hip-hop, but like most trends, it couldn't last and neither could Fivio. His story is another reminder that moments in music don't always turn into careers. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunning. It's your boy JC, Stunning Growth Music, and I'm out.